I want to introduce you guys to David Harris. David probably has the most interesting job in the entire dental industry. He's an expert at how you can steal from a dentist. Let me repeat that. His expertise is how you can steal from a dental practice. He's the CEO of Prosperident. They're a forensic accounting firm that is the dental industry's expert on embezzlement and fraud. And we were just talking about how he goes across the country and speaks 40, 50 times a year to dental organizations and study clubs and societies, big dental meetings on this topic. And this is the problem that we want to try and solve in today's video series. And it's much, much bigger than you think. I think I recall David told me that 2 out of 3 dentists will be embezzled from in their career. Is that accurate, David?
It's probably a bit understated. There's some embezzlement that never gets detected. There's some more that never gets reported to anybody. But based on what is reported, yeah, 2 out of 3 will get embezzled.
Which is amazing.
Real number, Steve, is probably more like 80%.
Okay, which is amazing. And so I want you to address that in a minute, but I want to tell everybody how I met you. It was some years ago at, it was an industry meeting for business advisors. I was proudly telling you about our dental accounting firm. We built it from scratch for dentists. We use really cool technology to help keep data secure. A lot of the processes that we put in place we're very proud of, in helping keep sensitive information secure and potentially prevent fraud. So I'm going on and on telling David about this, and at some point he pauses and says, Steve, very quietly, there's nothing you can do to prevent somebody from stealing from a dentist if they want to. And I was really taken back by that, and we went on to talk further. And so, David, let me ask you that same question. Why is it that a dentist can't rely on or trust their advisor, their CPA, to really prevent fraud?
That's a great question. And you're absolutely right. A lot of dentists think that the accountant is doing more to protect them than they really are. The big issue, Steve, is that the accountant's window into a practice is pretty narrow. When you think about what's different between dental practices and most other businesses, accounting software is kind of broken into 2 pieces. There's practice management software that tracks revenue, and then there's QuickBooks or some other kind of conventional accounting software that tracks expenses. And the 2 don't really communicate with each other all that well. And to most accountants, they don't really need what's in the practice management software to do their primary job, which is financial statements and tax returns. And it ends up not getting looked at. Almost inevitably, the place where embezzlement is concealed or detectable, depending on which way you want to look at it, is inside that practice management software. So it's kind of a black box to the accounting profession. It's ignored in the way that they do their work, and that's where the clues are. And to be clear, this is not a character flaw on the part of the accountants or some lack of skill or lack of motivation. It's simply that their job is somewhere else.
Makes sense. So because you've got that separation from, say, the bookkeeping software and the practice management software, whether it be QuickBooks to EagleSoft or Dentrix or whatever, inherently there's no way to really make those connected unless they were just that, connected as one piece of software. So having said that, then give me a piece of advice for a dentist that might be watching this right now that's alarmed by the statistics of fraud in the dental industry. What's something a dentist can take away from this today and maybe put in place in their practice as a solution to that?
Before I get there, I'll mention one other statistic. The American Dental Association did a study about 10 years ago, and what they did was they asked embezzlement victims what prompted them to discover they were being stolen from. The answer, my accountant found the embezzlement, came out less than 10% of the time. So that just reinforces exactly what you're saying. In terms of advice, I have a lot of it, but I'm going to give people one piece of advice today. What every practice needs to do is have somebody outside the practice, which could be the accountant, it could be a bookkeeper, it could be the dentist's spouse, but it shouldn't be a staff member. Every month, reconcile 3 things against the practice management software. They need to reconcile the bank account, what's called the merchant account. So that's from the machine in the practice that takes credit card payments. And if the practice works with somebody in the patient financing realm, like Care Credit or Lending Club, they need to reconcile their statements against the practice management. So 3 things against the software. And what we're trying to do is ensure that everything that the software says the doctor received made it to the bank account. And really what we're doing now is bringing together those 2 pieces that normally don't talk to each other. There are 2 ways people steal. If they think that the reconciliation process that's going on in the practice is flawed, or, for example, they're the person doing that reconciliation, then somebody can steal and they don't even have to cover it up. Mm-hmm. And the 3 things that I suggested the doctors outsource and check, and again, they're bank account, merchant account, and patient financing against the practice management software, are designed to catch that level of theft. There's a whole other level, which is more advanced theft, and that's where somebody's concealing. You got to handle that a different way, but let's at least stop the stupid thieves.
It's a good first step, in other words.
Exactly.
And it's easy, and it shouldn't take much time at the end of the month to have that reconciled by a third party. So
it's not an expensive proposition, and most, dentists could do this themselves, but I suspect most have something more important they could be doing.
Sure.
Typically, a bookkeeper will do this for a few $100s a month.
So if a dentist suspects maybe there is fraud or embezzlement in their practice, beyond maybe the step you just recommended, they can also contact you through your website, prosperident.com.
Yes.
They can reach out to you directly, and you can have a confidential conversation and kind of help them explore that a little bit further. Okay.
Steve, I know you know this. If somebody suspects embezzlement, the most important thing is not to let the person under suspicion know that they're in fact a suspect. So at that point, dentists really need some pretty specialized expertise to be able to investigate stealthily and keep the whole problem from the suspect.
Well, we have experience with you helping clients. We appreciate it. We know your work's great, and doctors can reach out to you directly to explore that further. And if you're a dentist watching this and you don't feel that you have a great dental CPA, give your CPA a checkup and go to Crossroads Tax Advisors. Click on the consultation for a dental CPA checkup and put them to the test. David, we're going to have you back and share some more tips on how a dental practice can safeguard against embezzlement. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Steve. Great to
Appreciate it. See ya.